Hello, welcome. My name is Mike Hyatt, and I'll be representing Epirus today and talking to you a little bit about our high-energy, high-power microwave. You say, that's a mouthful. What is that? Why do I need it? And it's really taking, we saw a little bit today about some companies bringing drones out there and the drone warfare, but it's the only solution that really works against swarms and against all types of drones. So we're going to start out by defining the threat a little bit today. So everything you see in this video is something that is real now. These exist, the tube-launched drones, and the ability to put them up. And if you put yourself in the mindset of being in this VDOC and seeing this swarm come at you, this is the type of technology that is very close to being seen on the battlefield. You see traditional kinetic interceptors are going to do very little to thin that type of herd. So what you need is a technology that doesn't engage single targets, but it engages a volume of space. And that's the only way we're going to be able to deal with swarms. People talk about a new paradigm of warfare, and that warfare is changing, and that is true. On the offensive side, with drones, you start to see the proliferation of highly networked, highly distributed, and autonomous systems. And that's really in reaction to the very traditional air defense systems, things like Patriot, very effective against high, fast mover targets, but very ineffective against the low, slow, and broadly distributed. And that's what you see here. So when the offense changes, just like since the age of warfare and the cat and mouse game that we've always played, the defense now needs to change. And that's where, instead of thinking in that one versus one, we need to start thinking in a one versus many application. And that's really where high-power microwave comes in as one of the very few one versus many effectors. So in short-range air defense, which is really where the Group 1, Group 2, and Group 3 live, there's a traditional way of doing things. There you saw a Stinger missile, for example. With a swarm that, you need the entire kill chain now to be able to handle the one versus many. You have to be able to detect many targets. You have to be able to track many targets. You have to be able to ID well enough to have a rule of engagement, to meet your rules of engagement. And then you have to be able to engage it. So you need that ability to do that. High-power microwave is the way that solves both the engagement of many targets, but also goes and helps with, everyone talks about cost asymmetry. And there was a lot of talk about, in the Red Sea, you had the USS Carney going out and lobbing, $2 million missiles at $50,000 drones, or when you had F-15s shooting AMRAAMs at Shaheds. They talk about the cost asymmetry. But the folks in that BDOC, in that first video, they didn't care about cost asymmetry. They were trying to protect their base. So then it's not cost asymmetry, but it's magazine depth. Meaning how many rockets do I have? How many Coyotes do I have in my box? Same thing with Iron Dome. How many interceptors are in a box? Because the bad guys know, and the bad guys know what the reload times are, and they're able to basically plan their TTPs around that. So, but if you have directed energy, you end up with the unlimited magazine depth. If you have high-power microwave, you have the unlimited magazine depth and the ability to engage a volume of space and all the targets in it. One of the things that there's been a lot of hype in the years. There's been a lot of snake oil in the counter-UAS market, as I'm sure those of you who have lived this and have been around for a while know. And so Epirus was founded on the idea that how do we get tech out to the warfighter faster? Because the speed of threat is moving whether we like it or not. So we have to be able to bring those new advances in defense, the new advances in technology, and get them out. But it's more than just material. We also have to be able to figure out the manning. We have to figure out how to train, how to do logistics. And that's where a technology like Epirus is so powerful. We've been able to do, we're using solid state. And what that means is you're able to leverage a lot of the reliability advantages and all the investments over decades of radar development. Because in a lot of ways, our system, from a manufacturability and reliability perspective, operates like a radar. We also are software defined, which means that we can roll out new updates and fixes and adapt to the threat with just simple software updates. and be able to put as much of that configurability in the hands of the user as possible. We want to minimize that cycle time. It can't be a new software update every 6 months. That's too slow. The other one is just the reliability and the ability to maintain it. These systems we've delivered to the Army, we're very proud of that. That means a lot to me to see product that I worked on in the hands of soldiers, being operated by soldiers and maintained by soldiers. And that's an incredibly powerful thing. We're real grateful for the Army RICTO office for that chance to do that. And so what we've been able to do, though, is start building out that reliability chain, the maintainability. We're able to look at monitor downtime in software and have the logistics folks actually do that. And so when we talk about getting directed energy out of the lab and into the field, these are the steps that we've got to do. And so we're very proud of that. That also helps maintain operational readiness, because a defensive weapon has to be ready always. We don't dictate the terms of the engagement. So we know that we had to have that reliability in there. And then the last one is human safe. We want to make sure that our operators are safe. I, as an employee in our headquarters, and all the other employees, we want to make sure that that's safe there too. And so the technology ends up being very safe in human safe. It's also got to be safe for ordnance and fuel as well, for those familiar with Hero, Herp, and HERF. That's something that we put a lot of time and energy into, and making sure that we don't impose a lot of logistics challenges on our customer. So when we take that concept of the solid-state, software-defined, high-power microwave and put it out in the field for this fixed and semi-fixed site defense, we say, well, what else can we do? Because as a product guy, I get to look at this technology and this architecture, and I can really push and say, do I want to make it bigger? Do I want to make it smaller? Our technology is very modular and very scalable. And then what's exciting about that is a new customer comes to us and says, hey, we want to put it, the Marines came to us and said, your big system's too big, we want something smaller. And so the one you see there on the right is our expeditionary directed energy counter-swarm system. And we were able to deliver a prototype to the Marine Corps on that. Very excited about that. And what that allows the Marines to do is stay more mobile. They love the term expeditionary and being able to move at the speed of need for them. But we can also go bigger. The one on the left there, you see that is the same system, but now put into a larger reflector. That allows us to really get after that long-range Group 3 and Group 4 type threat. Again, but still maintain the mobility of being able to pack up and move. Because as we learned from Ukraine, if you're an emitter, and this is a very loud emitter, they're going to know where you are.